Vamos caralho, brothers, this is your boy JTLive, and welcome back to another episode of South Stand Signings, the series. Of course, we go through everything happening in and around the world of Leeds United, and we have a little talk about it. And Raphinha, my baby, he's gone. And he's gone to Chelsea of all clubs. Would you believe it? Would you, Adam and Eve? Oh man, the first truly world-class player I've ever seen play for Leeds United in my life. I had about 4 posters of this guy on my wall, and now he plays for Chelsea. This is embarrassingly poor from me. This is tragic. This is on the verge of depressing. I wouldn't go that far, but it is not far away from it. It is so sad to see him go, but we could all see the day. We could see the writing on the wall for a hot moment now, and there is a lot to discuss when it does come to the Raphinha saga. We're talking new signings coming in thicker than Kim K's back and faster than a bullet train, and of course a hell of a lot more updates surrounding Leeds United departures. Before we do get into all of that, recent reports have shown that 69.8% of you are not subscribed. So if you do want to make sure that you stay up to date with everything happening in and around Leeds United football and of course the world of fighting, then subscribe and hit the notification bell down below. But let's not waste any more of your time. Let's get straight into the meat of the action. Ooh, and what better place to start than with that man Raphinha Belloli. Full agreement. Chelsea agreed to sign Phenomenon in attack, but player talks are still ongoing according to Fabrizio Romano. They're obviously referring to this tweet here. Chelsea and Leeds have reached a full agreement for Raphinha. Official bid accepted to be around 60 million to 65 million. Add-ons included. Main part of the amount to be paid immediately is done between clubs. I'm hearing it's going to be about 50 million pound paid immediately, and then about 10 to 15 million pound maybe in installments, and then add-ons. And this has come out of the blue. If you're an Arsenal fan, you are shaking your head in disgust. You are shaking quite a lot of things right now. I'll tell you what you're not shaking is your booty, because it is not a celebration time for you. They thought they had him signed, sealed and delivered. I'm getting Arsenal fans giving me the full rare tear 360-degree spin for the past 24 hours, 48 hours, 4,800 hours, should I say, mate. They thought this deal was done. They thought Raphinha was an Arsenal player. I'm seeing pictures of him in an Arsenal kit every 2 seconds, and just completely out of nowhere, Fabrizio Romano just throws in a complete 180-degree twist. And now Chelsea have agreed reached the agreement. And to be honest, that's what you get, Arsenal, for putting in that absolute pittance of a bid. You've played yourself here, sunshine. You have royally played yourself. How do you guys feel about it? Well, though, how do you feel about it? Do you prefer the fact he's going to Chelsea? Do you think it's worse than going to Arsenal? Obviously, Leeds and Chelsea, a lot more of a historic rivalry there. A lot more bitterness between the two clubs that spans back ages ago. And of course, I dislike Chelsea more than Arsenal for that reason as a Leeds fan. Although, the fact that he's playing in the Champions League, the fact that he's no longer playing for a club whose fans would really rub it in. I'm telling you, man, they would rub the salt in the wounds big time. I don't know, you could say that it's potentially an add-on or not as bad in that fact. And like I said, he is playing for one of the 3 best teams in Europe right now. So at least there's that going for it. I would have much preferred him to go to a Barcelona or even a PSG, wherever the hell he could have gone abroad. But unfortunately, it does look like it is pretty much done for this deal right now. It is understood the Blues will pay about as much as 60 to 65 million pounds to sign the Brazil international this window. Romano does add that discussions will now take place with the 25-year-old to sort out personal terms and a contract at Stamford Bridge. So it's not 100% done. Personal terms are still yet to be agreed on. However, it's not looking good, bruv. It is not looking good, bruv. And unfortunately, Sniper may be out on all digital platforms, but Leeds might be out of the league if we don't sort this out soon. And speaking of sorting it out, maybe we are going to be sorting it out right here, right now, with that man Cody Gagpo himself, with a report stating that Leeds are now in talks with a player who has everything. According to AD, Leeds United are now in talks with Cody Gakpo about a move to Elland Road. It probably isn't a coincidence that the Whites' interest in Gakpo has intensified the same time as Chelsea seem to be closing in on Raphinha. No, it is not a coincidence at all. That is textbook 101 deflection right there. Yeah, more deflection than a goddamn riot shield. Of course, seconds before, moments before, probably 30, 40, 50 minutes before the Raphinha news actually broke, all of a sudden, a load of stories seem to be emerging out of nowhere about Leeds actually making moves for Cody Gakpo. We've been speaking about him for the past week, and there's been no real reports about Leeds actually pulling the trigger, going for the jugular. But all of a sudden, out of nowhere, all these stories start coming out of thin air saying, oh, Leeds are making big moves for Cody Gakpo, are we? Well, funnily enough, what happens 45 minutes later, Raphinha is basically done. And I was saying the other day, we need to get these signings made before we lose Raphinha. We need to get someone lined up, and it looks like once again we don't have someone lined up. We are apparently talking to Cody Gakpo. We're apparently making moves, but we need to be a hell of a lot closer if we are going to be signing Raphinha. There was reports apparently about James Rodriguez potentially going over to PSV Eindhoven. If I do pull up the tweet from Fabrizio Romano. Many questions on James Rodriguez after rumour on medical test today as new PSV Eindhoven player. No one has been told, and James knows nothing of PSV as things stand. He wants to return to European football, that's it. But he has not accepted any bid yet. The race for him is still over, so it doesn't look like that is really going to be a thing. There was also a move for Xavi Simons that did happen yesterday over to PSV Eindhoven. I know he doesn't play in the exact same position, so he's probably not a replacement for him, but they are still getting players in, probably expecting some big departures as well. So it does look like there are some serious legs to this Cody Gakpo thing. It does look like Leeds are actually starting to maybe pull the trigger on him, but who knows? We'll only have to wait a couple more days to find out, because let me tell you something. If we sell Raphinha and we don't make a move in, swooping in instantly for someone, there's going to be serious problem. Pre-season is just around the corner. The players are already back in training, and if you're telling me we're going to be losing two of our key players, meaning we've only brought in a net increase of one player, when it gets to that point, what started off as a fruitful, beautiful transfer window is suddenly going to transform into a harsh, painful one, and not one that anyone wants to be a part of if you are anyway a Leeds contingency. However, do you guys think we will get the Gakpo thing done? Do you think there is any legs to the story? Do you think that there is a chance that Leeds will get him done maybe within the next week? Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section down below. Speaking of a move that could get done very quickly, this man, Jamie Shackleton, does look like he is going to be departing Ellen Road. That is right, Leeds United midfielder Jamie Shackleton is expected to depart Ellen Road very shortly. Shackleton is expected to leave Ellen Road this summer, according to reliable journalist Graham Smith. Writing for the YEP on the 28th of June, Smith reports that a 22-year-old could either leave on loan or permanently before the window ends. The central midfielder, who can also play as a right-back, has progressed through the youth ranks at the club, making 80 appearances, yada. However, has been unable to stamp his claim into the team. And it does look like, we did touch on it yesterday, but it does look like he could be moving very soon. I don't see this one dragging too far into the end of the transfer window. If we are going to sell him, I think we will get rid of him relatively shortly, so he does have time to adapt to whatever new system or style that he is going to be asked to play. And I'm not going to lie to you, I think it is going to be permanent. I don't see this move necessarily really happening as a temporary run. I think it's going to be a permanent one, boys. I do think it is going to be a permanent move for the boy Shackleton. And speaking of a move that we would like to make permanent, it is Mohamed Kamara. And Red Bull Salzburg have excused him from their preseason camp in order to resolve his future amid interest from Leeds United. According to the Daily Express, Leeds are looking for a midfield reinforcement after agreeing to sell Calvin Phillips to the champions Manchester City. They've already signed two players from Ballsport Salzburg, and it looks like we're going to make it a third. We're going for the hat-trick of Dons, yeah, the hat-trick of dreams. What is going on here? Why are we just absolutely raiding Salzburg? What is this? Honestly, I haven't seen one club be the subject of receiving such action since Tiger opened up in Piccadilly Circus. It is getting crazy, man. We are absolutely taking them to the cleaners, and it looks like we could be making it the hat-trick. Kamara, a Mali international, joined Salzburg in 2018 and spent time at their sister club Lufc before making the breakthrough, and now it does look like he is going to break through into the big time. And it is suggested that it would cost between 17 million and 25 million pounds. 25 million pounds is a big fat whack, and that's actually more than I think we'd get Tyler Adams for. So when you're looking at it like that, that is pretty damn crazy, man. 25 million for Kamara, is that worth it? I'm not so sure. 17 million, maybe you're talking more my language now. At 25 million, you're talking a bit of gibberish, if you ask me. You are talking a little bit of gibberish. But 17 million, I'll hear that. And I'll not just hear it, I will like it. And speaking of something I will like, I like this a lot. I was scrolling through to see what the news was this morning, and this one tickled my pickle a little bit. I'm not going to lie to you. And that is that Paris Saint-Germain may now reluctantly axe exciting talent after 8-figure Leeds bid, according to Oli Dawes. Leeds United want Arnaud Calimuendo, and it now seems like Paris Saint-Germain are willing to sell the striker this summer. The Whites have enjoyed a busy start to the window with Brendan Aronson, Rasmus Christensen and Mark Roca already arriving. It isn't all good news for Leeds though, as Calvin Phillips and Raphinha look set to leave Ellen Road this summer. Leeds will need to find quality replacements, but other positions need reinforcing anyway, including up front. Patrick Bamford is a quality striker, but his injury record last season has left Leeds needing another regular goal scorer. And what is the major development in this story, you're asking? Well, it is that Paris Saint-Germain have recently got a new sporting director. The man's name is Luis Campos, and he is now on board in an exciting move after his heroics at both Monaco and Lille. And what is his aim? What is his status quo? His status quo is to reduce it or rejuvenate the squad on a slightly more self-sufficient basis. They're no longer going to be splashing the cash on the glitz and the glamour of these expensive signings, despite giving Kylian Mbappe a goddamn ownership role at the squad. I mean, the whole thing over there is a complete mess, although it still doesn't look as bad as how Leonardo was running the ship last season. However, it does look like they are going to be running more of a self-sufficient model, and part of that includes letting players go in order to fund their summer. And one of the players they are looking to get rid of is Calimuendo. It's apparently going to be a reluctant sale, however, a sale that is deemed necessary for them in order to reinvest. And if this is the case, if he has come to such a conclusion, then maybe, just maybe, they'll be willing to allow us to get him without having to put a buyback clause in his case. Because if they do really need the cash and they do really need to sell up to earn the cash, maybe they will be slightly less reluctant to give him over without putting that ridiculous buyback clause in there, which is obviously the sticking point. And it does look like we could be moving in for him very quickly. If we lose Raphinha in the next couple of weeks, as we say, then we're going to need a striker and a winger very quickly. Calimuendo, Cody, Gakpo. Good couple of signings, if you ask me. Both can play out wide, one can play up front. That is a good addition, if you ask me. Are you happy with Gakpo and Calimuendo if it means we miss out on De Ketelere potentially? Or are you really on board the De Ketelere bandwagon? I don't know. I think I would happily take De Ketelere and Gakpo. I would love all three. I mean, that would be an absolute dream. However, we can only dream as Leeds fans, and it does look like that might be a dream one too far away. And finally, speaking of Charles de Ketelere, he made an interesting admission amidst Leeds and Newcastle transfer links, where they basically go on to talk about him coming out and saying the Premier League is the best league in the world. It is the top league. It's the highest you can go. The intensity too. In England, you become a better player. But I want to leave everything open. He says, my girlfriend Josephine must be able to continue her studies in dentistry in a good way. And it looks like he's kind of making a couple of excuses up. Who knows? But he could be finding his way over to Leeds. But the more I hear him talk and the more I hear and see this story develop, it just seems to me like he's not very keen on the move. And it could be one of those moves where he ends up coming, but then he's kind of 50-50 on it, and he's a bit hesitant, and he's not really happy from the second he lands there. He doesn't really grow into the club and the culture and embrace it in the same way players like Raphinha have, and he just doesn't kick on. And it just seems to me like there's a bit of a stink around this entire deal. And sorry to get you guys a bit flat about it, but I'm not so sure about this one. I don't think it's going to happen, to be honest. And if it does happen, I think it could have a situation where it does go very wrong. Obviously, if he does sign, I'll be 100% behind him. I won't be saying any of this. And I know there is apparently a rumoured €30 million bid coming in for him within the next week or so, or within the next couple of days even. but I just don't think that he's really keen on the move. What do you guys think? Is he keen on it? Is he trying to... I don't know, man. Yeah, but hey, what do I know? I'm not the one talking to him. However, finally, one guy who could be coming over and wouldn't be kicking up a stink is Sonny Perkins, who is set to leave West Ham this week with his contract expiring. Will Leeds picking him up for free? I hope we will. I think we will. It's gone very quiet, but I think much like the Raphinha to Chelsea thing, we will swoop in last second. It'll be a very quick deal, professional deal, and a deal that is done. But anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think down in the comments section down below. Which one of these moves do you want to see happen first? Which one of these moves do you want to happen at all? Let me know down below. But for now, guys, I will see you very, very soon. Au revoir, my brothers and my sisters.